Once a site is live, there are a few things that need to be done, and we've actually covered these, but it's really important that you make sure that you don't get too excited about the launch and that you take a moment to complete these few steps so that you are getting all of the SEO benefit. This is where a lot of people tend to make a very, very easy mistake by not taking one of these steps accidentally. They just forget because it's very easy to overlook, but it certainly can impact your results. So the first one is when we set up a demo site, we had asked search engines not to index the site. And we did that by going to settings and to reading. And you can do this here by unchecking the discourage search engines from indexing the site box here and click Save Changes. Now, if you're using WordPress or you're using another CMS altogether, you can also do this via the robots.txt file that we discussed as well. And you just want to make sure that you remove that restriction so search engines are free to index the site. Of course, if search engines are not free to index the site, you will not be seeing any rankings. The next thing I want to do is to go ahead and add in the Google Analytics code. So since this particular site had one before, I want to use that same code, and that's going to allow me to easily track what is going on with the site both before and after the redesign, and also before and after the SEO work was done as well. So to grab that code, if I didn't grab it from the other site, I'm going to go into my Google Analytics account. I am going to go to admin, and then I can click on the tracking info and tracking code. Now, there's a couple of things you can do here. You can either use a plugin, so if you are using WordPress, there are plugins like Google Analytics by Yoast, and there's several other Google Analytics plugins, and you can install those and use those. You can also just use a very simple plugin like this one, Insert Headers and Footers. And what's good about this is although this is not specifically for Google Analytics, it is a very, very lightweight plugin because we don't want to put too many large plugins on our site, which of course can cause our site to load slowly. So this is one that is good to use for that, and you can install this and go ahead and throw the Google Analytics code into the header that way. If you will be inserting the code on a WordPress site, if you don't want to use a plugin, you can go up to Appearance and down to Editor. And when you are in your theme files, you can go to the header.php file, and right below the body tag here, you can go ahead and paste in your Google Analytics code and save that. Now your tracking code will be installed and you will be good to go. So now the next thing that I like to do is I want to make sure that I have a preferred URL set. So if I go to Settings and General, here I want to make sure that I've either included the www or non-www version of the site, whatever I have decided to go with. And I also want to go into my Google Search Console account, and I want to set it here so I can tell Google directly what it is that I want to do. Now keep in mind you can do this as well with your Bing Webmaster Tools account, so you do want to go in there as well. But I'll click on the settings icon here up in the upper right hand corner and click on Site Settings. Now you'll see I have the preferred domain right here, and previously there was not a preferred domain set. So now I will tell Google that I want the URLs to be displayed with the www version. Now lastly, now that I have a new website set up, I do need to make sure I have any 301 redirects in place as we talked about previously, which I will be adding into my .htaccess file, or again using the redirection plugin that we talked about. And then finally, once that is set up, I will go back to my Google Search Console dashboard and I will click on sitemaps. Now, if you previously had a sitemap before and you've added any new pages, if you have new URLs, this is your opportunity to let Google know about this. So I can go back to a tool like xmlsitemaps.com and I can throw in the URL here and I can go ahead and download the XML file for that. And then I am going to click on add/test sitemap in the Search Console account here after I've uploaded the XML file to my website. Then I can go ahead and test the sitemap just to make sure everything is working before I actually submit it to Google. If everything looks good, go ahead and click submit and we'll be good to go. And we have now notified Google that they can index the site. We've given them the updated sitemap. We can track it in Google Analytics and we've let them know what URL we prefer to use. So we're off to a really good start now that the site has launched and we can continue on with the SEO process.